y'all thought I wasn't finna come to Texas and give me some Mexican food. Y'all tripping, dog. Sometimes you don't never really know if you're gonna be a blessing to somebody unless you get out and ask if you need some help. I just had a guy next to me. His tandems weren't locking in place, so he could slide his tandems from the door. So helped him out. I helped him out. Had another driver out there with his WD-40. One of them had a hammer. I came out with my PP blaster, but it really just came down to just not allowing the trailer to build up enough air, so I was able to help him out. But we got a load out of Texas. We about to get on the road, so welcome to another vlog. So tell y'all how fat I am, right? So I was talking to Travis, and I made these in the oven. So these are actually really good. It was like 16 of them. So I was eating these, and then the taco truck came up. So I got 3 tacos. I got 3 tacos, 2 drinks for 20 bucks. Yeah, I'd be so hungry out here. But they just finished loading me. I'm waiting on my paperwork. Like, man, it is just like, just having, like, I think I've just been stacking up my blessings, right? So this is why I say that. And then I'm gonna get to my food, get down the road, and then I'll finish this vlog up. But so I came here, so I got this load. Or first, I did not load earlier this morning, just because I didn't want to go back to the Northeast. Then they gave me this one. It doesn't pay all that great, but the area that it's going to, that's what attracted it to me, or attracted me to it rather. So I picked up that load, and it wasn't scheduled to pick up. It's just drop and hook, but it wasn't scheduled to pick up until 1900 or 7 p.m. tonight. So me, being a genius, it's like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and leave now. So I left about 12:30. I got here about 2 or 3 something, and I checked in, and I was asking the lady who was checking me in. I'm like, hey, I'm early. My appointment's not for another 5 hours. I have, I got a 216 trailer. I'm just trying to keep it. I'm like, hey, I'm early. My appointment's not till 7 p.m. Is there any way you can just change it to a live load? Because I already have, my trailers are like I'm here now. They didn't have to take away a trailer if I was bringing one in. And the lady was like, oh, it's a drop and hook, and we already got the trailer in the door. And so then she asked the person she was working with, and she was like, yeah, trailer's already in the door. We already started working on it. And I'm like, oh, okay, not a problem. She's like, I was like, what do you want me to do with my empty trailer? And she's like, okay, so what you're gonna do is gonna go back in the truck, exit, and then come back into the guard shack, and then check in with the guard shack. They'll tell you what to do with your empty trailer. I'm like, okay. Didn't think anything of it. So I walked out, I walked back to the truck, and as I'm walking to the guard shack, technically I was parked where I wasn't supposed to be parking. I didn't know that, and there's no signs or anything. But when he told me, he was like, yeah, every driver does it. I was like, they don't feel as bad. But anyway, I was walking to the guard shack, and one of the yard guys was blowing his horn at me, trying to flag me down. So I came up to him, I'm like, hey, what's going on? He was like, hey, you gotta move your truck. I gotta turn into the drop yard, or the drop lot here. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they just told me, I was trying to get live load, they just told me it was a drop and hook. So yeah, I'll go ahead and move out the way. So I moved the truck out the way. I exit, and I come back in, check into the guard shack. It's like, hey, they told me that, they couldn't switch me to a live load, so I'm here to drop the trailer. They're like, okay, cool, just pull forward, open the door so we can check it, check the fuel, all that good stuff. I was like, okay. And so he checked everything. He's like, okay, you're gonna go in this drop lot right here, you're gonna park in this spot right here. I'm like, okay, cool. So I pull around, get in the spot. He's like, slide your tandems when you get in the spot. Cool. Slid my tandems, dropped the trailer, pulled off from the trailer, and as I'm pulling back out to go park, because I would have had to park, basically for 4.5, 5 hours, I was pulling out to go park, and the yard guy comes running up to me, and he's on the phone, and he's flagging me down. I'm like, oh, what is it now? So he comes up to me, and as he's hanging up the phone, he's like, hey, I hooked you up, since you told me that, because I told him that they had me drop the trailer. I don't know if I said that, but if I did, sorry. But he came up, he was like, hey, I hooked you up. You know, they told you that I put the trailer in the door, and I actually didn't yet. So since you're here, rehook back up to your trailer and drop and back up to door 29. Go ahead and open the doors. Don't worry about pre-cooling. We'll handle it. I was like, okay. So, so I got to keep my trailer. I got live loaded. The load is done. I'm waiting for them to call me with my paperwork. I'm about to eat, and then we'll see. Well, I mean, I'm still kind of early. There's no appointment set for my delivery address, so I'm gonna get with my dispatcher and see if we can work on an appointment time. But I'll finish up this vlog when I guess I decide to stop for the night. So yeah, see y'all then. You know, it's getting out the shower, and I realized that I never ended that vlog from the other day, and it's a whole new day, or I guess a new set of days, and I never finished that video. So I mean, I got a relatively short day, so I might as well end this, I guess, few day vlog with the end of this trip, I suppose. It was a relatively short trip. I only had to go about 260 something miles. I ended up actually getting sleepy last night, so I just pulled off. They gave me 24 hours to do it, so I ended up pulling off and stopping here at this Petro here, getting some rest. I actually did something I usually have never done before. I actually parked in the reserve parking without paying, but it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, I literally parked. Once I parked, I set my brakes. I probably didn't even last like 3 minutes. I was so sleepy. I felt kind of bad, but no one came and woke me up, so you know, I didn't think nothing else of it. But at the same time, I was like, ah, man, I really should have paid for it. But I mean, I went inside, took a shower. No one said anything to me. There was no notes on the truck saying I needed to pay, or there's no boot on my truck or anything like that. So I mean, kind of is what it is at this point. But I'm leaving now, even though my appointment's not supposed to be till 1 o'clock in the morning. I called the receiving office because my load is scheduled as a drop, but it had a set appointment time. So I called and asked them, and I'm like, hey, this load is scheduled as a drop. Like, you know, it's scheduled as a drop. Like, you know, can I go ahead and come and bring it in? He's like, you know, who do you drive for? What's your appointment number? Stuff like that. You know, and I gave him the information, and he's like, no, you're scheduled for a live unload. I'm like, oh, well, my paperwork says this is a drop unload. So he's like, well, I'll tell you what, you know, we don't allow overnight parking, but if you're kind of close, since you have a 1 o'clock appointment, you know, I'll go ahead and let you stage early. And I was like, yep, I'm 2 hours away, or 130 miles away, so I'll absolutely come and stage early. So I'm headed out now, and really just wanted to come. Well, yeah, I'll probably wrap up this video here and start another video, because obviously this is not a one-day video. It's just a two-day video. Mess around with Travis. But yeah, I just came to close out that video because I never had an ending for it. So I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, I actually had a small little story too. So earlier in this clip, or the other day, but earlier for you guys, I helped someone slide their tandems because, you know, their trailer couldn't build up enough air in their trailer at the dock that the dock that was next to me. So I helped him out. So I started my shift going on down today. Of course, I'm on the phone with Travis, and I think Travis called me like 10 minutes before I was stopping to just take a break. No, I think I was stopping for fuel. Yeah, I was in Texarkana, Arkansas. So I stopped and got fuel, and there was another guy. Like, I pulled up to get fuel. You know, did grab my cards and stuff, or grab my phone, grab the trip information, and this guy at the next fuel line was waving me down. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He was like, hey, I've been trying to slide these tandems for a while. I'm having some real trouble with my tandems. Can you help me slide them? And so I ended up helping him slide his tandems too. I'm like, I was just helping people after people. You know, then leaving Texas, I was able to, you know, I was on the CB radio with a couple of drivers. We were basically from Dallas all the way, probably till about 30 miles short of Texarkana. I had the one with the most time. There was another guy who was stuck doing 65, and the people who were governed at 70 slowed down to 65. So we ended up talking for about 3-4 hours, or yeah, about 3.5 hours while I drove to Texarkana. But I had the most time, so obviously I kept going. But that was really cool. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up so I can go get on the road, because my idle times are already ticking off. So, like I always say, if you're thinking, you might as well do it logically. 2 hard-boiled eggs, a bag of chips, and a can of Coke. And I'll see y'all on the next one.